Hi, I'm Jeff Ludy, the owner of Houston Window Experts, and today I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Luke Reedus. Luke, how are you?
I'm doing well, thanks.
So, as you know, Houston Window Experts has been very successful, and we're so grateful to all of our clients all over this area that have helped us grow and to get to where we are today. And one of the things we never want to lose track of is giving back. And today, as Luke and I are talking about some things, behind me here, you see these are the windows that we're able to contribute to this project. Now, Luke, your organization is a nonprofit and it's called Compassion United.
Yep.
Tell us just a quick minute. Who is Compassion United? Who do you serve?
So Compassion United, it's our goal to see communities transformed by serving their forgotten and marginalized through outreach, relief, and empowerment. So we have various programs that operate in different facets of the community to meet the needs of the poor, of the homeless, and of the at-risk youth, in a desire to invite them into a better life.
So you and I met when we worked together at a church right here. We're in Conroe, Texas. And you started that ministry, even while you were there, you were kind of overlapping into doing this really independently at this point. What's your story?
I spent some time homeless when I was about 22 years old.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, my address was 1985 Impala. Lived out of my car.
Is that a collectible now?
Somebody collected it.
Yeah.
So, but having grown up in poverty myself, having struggled with addiction myself, and been homeless myself, just really felt a connection and a kind of understanding with the folks who were going through that. And fast forward to 2006, and that was when my wife and I decided that we were going to do something to reach out to our community a little bit more tangibly. We weren't trying to start anything, so we were just going to do something with our kids. And that looked like waking up on a Saturday morning, making breakfast tacos, and finding some homeless people or some hungry people.
I remember that.
Yeah.
And that grew and grew and grew, didn't it? It really took off.
Yeah. So from there, we started, 3 years later, that turned into a church for the homeless. That's a collaborative effort of churches and businesses throughout the community. Wow. A weekly feeding in the park. A year after that, our first transition home, and then a couple of months after that, our second one. And then our third one, 3 years after that.
So there's been a lot of demand for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Overall, this area, is homeless population growing? Is it shrinking? Do you have any stats like that?
Well, we have in Conroe proper, we have about 250 people who would be considered homeless. But our desire is not just the homeless. We're also working with at-risk youth to keep them from, and the idea of that is we're affecting homelessness in the future by heading it off now.
Prevention.
Right,
Yeah,
exactly.
prevention's great.
And then we also have food pantries that work with the residential poor.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Hey, let's walk inside. Okay. I want you to show me around a little bit what you're doing. And as you can see in some of this footage we're showing you here, we've had some progress over a period of time, and it's just getting better and better, and you're getting closer and closer. Would you say you're 50% of the way there or more?
Of this building?
Yeah.
Of this building?
Yeah.
Man, I don't even know. I would say we're a lot farther along than I thought we would be.
Yeah.
It has been, so this building is going to be the empowerment center, and temporarily we're going to house our church for the homeless in this part of the building right here. So where you're standing right here, this will be where we have worship and preaching, and that's done with the various churches throughout the community, ranging from the Church of Christ to the Catholic Church, and it's been a very
it's not about a
beautiful-
particular denomination.
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all. And so right over here, that's where they'll set up the breakfast table, and people will be able to come and get a hot meal Monday through Friday.
How do they get here?
We have a bus. So
okay.
So many of the folks are already within walking distance of this building, but for those who aren't, we have a bus that's going to make the rounds in the morning and bring them here. And
what do you call this place?
This is going to be the empowerment. Oh, sorry, this whole campus is Miracle City.
Okay, so this is building one of. I guess it's going to grow as you go, right?
7, 8. When all is said and done, there will be 8 larger buildings and then 7 duplexes on site.
Okay, so you're going to have kind of an in-campus housing for some of these people?
Right. So currently we have transitional housing for men and women that can hold 17 people, and once we're fully operational on this campus, that will be bumped up to 92.
92?
92, and that'll include transitional housing as well as long-term supportive housing. So.
Can you do this better than the government?
Yes. Well, our goal, whenever someone goes through our transition program, is whenever they're done, they're not going to need to get any help from the government. So that's awesome. one of our values.
Okay, so if you're a nonprofit organization, you can divert some of your tax money from the government, who doesn't do this as well,
right,
to help your cause or others, right? I mean,
right.
There's people doing what you're doing, and they're effective like you're effective.
Not nearly as effective.
No, of course not. Okay, so a minute ago while we were setting up the camera, Luke was telling me about he has a guy who's 56 years old in their program, and you said something to me that I thought, oh my God, I hadn't thought of that. Tell the audience.
Well, yeah, he had been in prison, and he had never seen a smartphone before, so navigating things like getting a driver's license, everything that you have to do to get on the internet. Yeah. He didn't know how to use a computer. He doesn't know how to do all of these things. So
it's like being born
pretty much
at 50 years of age or something, right?
Yeah. So this guy wants to go and apply for a job at Home Depot, and the first thing that they tell him is, go to the website. He has no idea how to do that. Those are the kinds of things that a lot of folks may not realize whenever you're trying to navigate transitioning somebody out of who's grown up in poverty. Poverty speaks a completely different language, than the language of those who are successful. And we say things like, well, why don't they just go get a job? Well, that's why. And for people who have not been able to get past that, this constant cycle of failure over and over again, it's easy for them to give up. Those are the people that we would say want to be homeless.
Oh, okay, so what keeps you awake at night? Or do you sleep like a baby because you work so hard?
I do sleep like a baby. No,
but to use that expression, what are the concerns?
Honestly, there's a couple. So one of the things that we fight in what we do is this stigma that the homeless are just a bunch of lazy bums or drug addicts or alcoholics that don't want to work.
Yeah.
That's not the truth. The reality is most of them, almost 100% of the time, they're victims of childhood trauma, and they've never been able to overcome that. So we work really hard to try to help people overcome things like that.
Do you also have some counseling or coaching or something too that helps people overcome some of those?
Yeah, so we do spiritual inner healing. We implement these things called mind shift minutes that help people move from a fight or flight state to a parasympathetic state where they can actually think and learn better. And just really give them tools to navigate that. We teach things like emotional first aid, teaching them what they need to do in that moment so they don't go off the rails.
And unlike some organizations, and I'm not knocking them, they're great at what they do, but their capacity is limited. I mean, feeding people and sending them back out is a good thing, but doing more than that is where that's where they stop. I mean, some people get capped off.
Right. So that's our approach is outreach, relief, and empowerment. We're going to go to where the people are who need. We're going to meet that need. They say that if you give a man a fish, you feed him for a day. If you teach him to fish, you feed him for a lifetime.
Exactly.
But it's easier to teach him to fish if he's not hungry. So that's where the empowerment comes in, and that's the better part of what we do. Making sure that they have the tools that they need to be successful in life. The emotional healing, we want them to have a relational intelligence to understand. We're relational people, and they need to know how to navigate that well. And then on the work side of it, we want people to know how to get a job, how to do a job, but very importantly, and what often gets neglected, is how to have a job.
Okay, you told me something. Remind me. You said part of what you're doing here is also job training. What's that about?
So ideally, but we're not at that phase yet. But it's our dream on this campus to provide a space where we can offer a social enterprise that will be vocational training that would also be revenue generating. So we want to teach carpentry by having people build things like tiny homes or storage sheds. We want to teach welding by them learning how to build things like fire pits and trailers. We want to teach auto body repair by having them work on people's cars.
This warms my heart,
yeah.
man. I love what you're doing here. Okay, so let's say that someone's out there watching right now. Elon, hope you're doing
Yeah.
great. If somebody could write one check that would get you caught up, what do you need? You need $1 million, 10 million, 100 million?
This campus right here, we need estimated another 5.2 million.
5.2 million.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that would put a big red bow on top of everything that we want to do.
Okay. I don't know how you feel about this, but I love to hear Luke's story. I didn't realize you were homeless, and that's kind of what birthed that seed in you. I love to see what they're doing. I've pitched in. Maybe you can pitch in. If you live in this area, there might be some things you could do that actually physically contribute to this cause. But if you don't, you can still write a check and you can donate to this cause, because when you do this, you're helping yourself, you're helping someone else, and you're improving the world. And hey, that's why we sell windows, right? Yeah. We want to improve people's homes,
Yeah.
right? So home improvement, people improvement,
Right.
Something we can do together.
Yep.
Luke, thank you so much for
you.
your
I
time.
appreciate you.
This is coming out real good. We'll be back to see how it looks when you're all done.
Okay, sounds good.
Thanks for watching. Have a great day. I'll talk to you real soon.